What's going on my new, current, and future rideshare drivers and passengers out there? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I'm going to talk about the crazy Uber ride I took today. Now, before we get started, make sure you smack-o-vich that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell to stay notified when all the videos come out, all that good stuff. Now, drivers, please, everybody must have a phone mount, okay? In many states, it's illegal for you not to be hands-free while you're driving. And let's face it, passengers do not feel safe when you're sitting there driving and you go to look down at your phone and you're on the highway or something like that. That's a negative Ghost Rider. That is not going to fly. You are risking them giving you some kind of false report and getting, obviously, a low rating, no tip, all that stuff. Now, I had to get an oil change today, so I'm sitting there waiting on an Uber because I wanted to go to the store real quick. My Uber comes and picked me up. I had to mess with him, of course. I'm like, say my name. And he just looked at me all weird. And ironically enough, his name was Dustin as well. So he was like, are you Dustin? And I was like, no, are you Dustin? You know what I mean? Just messing with him. And I was like, how are we going to make sure this is the right person? But anyways, we conversed, made sure everything's correct. I noticed he had like a 4.71 rating. It said he'd only been driving for a month. And I'm thinking to myself, I wonder, why has this guy got such a low rating? As soon as I get in the car, it hits me right there. Strong smell of weed. Strong, strong, strong. Like it made you want to, I was instant buzz when I sat in that baby. Now, this is also why drivers, please carry some kind of Ozium spray or even some Lysol. Lysol is good because it also gets the germs and everything else and deodorizes the air. Okay? Please make sure you have those two things. Phone mount, Lysol, or Ozium. Something like that. All right? Now, I'm sitting there talking to him. I didn't let him know I was a driver at first. I was like, hey, man, I had to mess with him again, ask him the simple questions. How long you been driving? You like it and everything? He's like, yeah, I like it. But he started talking about a star rating. He's like, I don't understand why I keep getting these low star ratings. In his back seat, because, I didn't want to sit up front. I sat in the back, in the passenger, like a lot of drivers prefer. And I noticed he had a bunch of trash on the floor. I don't know if it was his last passengers, whatever. I was like, well, it might be because, you got a couple bags of chips down here, and it had some like Tootsie Roll wrappers. And he's like, what? No, he didn't notice it. I guess he had picked up some kids, which another thing he didn't know he wasn't supposed to do. Of course, I educated him, guys. Don't worry. But I'm like, yeah, man, you got to try to check your vehicle out every time because you just never know what passengers leave behind. And he's like, well, I guess that could make sense. He has had false reports on there of cleanliness, and he was freaking out trying to figure out why. Because he had the front was all wiped down. It looked all shiny. Besides a little bit of trash there, it was okay. He had some bottled waters, and he was like, yeah, I was hoping I was going to get me more tips and stars, but it seems like my rating just goes down more. And I'm like, you don't have to do all that, man. Just make sure you conversate or shut up when you're supposed to. I was like, don't try that quiet mode stuff unless you see your passenger not wanting to talk to you. I was like, you have to read your passengers. And he was excited. He was really liking it. Then I told him I was a driver and who I was. And, not like I'm a big deal or anything, but I was like, I've been doing this for a while. Here's a couple pointers. I'm saying, hey, Walmart's over here. After you drop me off, you definitely need to go get a phone mount. Because he was sitting there trying to drive, look at it, like, where we're going. I was like, just around the corner. That's just why knowing your market is also key, guys. You wouldn't have to worry about looking at your phone, the GPS and everything if you know where you're going. So knowing your market is always key. Now, I told him he does these couple things right there, and that should help him out a lot. And I said, especially with your vehicle smelling like weed. He said, yeah, the last people I picked up smelled really bad, but, I didn't know what to say to them. And I was like, technically, you could cancel the ride if you wanted to, but, he's out here trying to make money. I was like, instead of doing that, you take them, but then right afterwards, you spray something, man, because you don't want to pick up your next person. Because for me, I was like, technically, I could report you right now saying I think you were, under the influence. You'd get deactivated, and I would get a refund. He was like, really? They do that? I was like, yeah, sadly they do. But not to fear, because Dustin is driving is here. Nah, and I would never do that. So, in fact, I gave him all those pointers and everything, told him about the channel and whatnot, and I still tipped him $5 on a minimum fare. So, yes, no matter what, I still tip my drivers. Try to make sure they're educated as much as possible, because let's face it, guys, Uber and Lyft don't do anything. They don't do nothing at all to help drivers figure out what they need to do when they're first starting out. And a lot of them get discouraged or deactivated because their ratings fall too low. Or, they're not making money. But all right, guys, I just had to tell everybody that. It was crazy. It was ironic enough that we had the same name, but then, his star rating and vehicle smelling like weed and trash everywhere. I was like, I should have videoed this, but I didn't want to put him on blast like that. But all right, guys, if you enjoyed this story, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. As always, check the description below for extra help information and tips. You keep doing your thing. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Always, remember, phone mounts, Lysol, or Ozium. Get your money. Don't take crap from anybody. And as always, Uber on or don't. Peace out.